What's up, guys? Here we are today. We got our catch can in and we have gotten everything we need to get it installed on the truck. Let's go over a couple things real quick on what took us a little bit of time to get the parts we needed. So first thing, here's the catch can. We went with Evil Energy off Amazon. It's like $37. Pretty nice kit, real simple. Comes with instructions. Here are fittings that are relatively useless in this application, and we're going to go over that why in just a minute. Here's our catch can, real nice baffle. I went with a sealed on top. Has a dipstick, so you can check the level. We'll go over these in just a minute. It comes with like a filter media to put in there, some bolts and hose clamps, which we're not gonna be able to use these, and I'll go over that in just a minute why. And a mounting bracket, aluminum mounting bracket, which overall pretty nice. So in the box, it comes with these fittings. On the Cummins engine, the PCV is 3/4 inch hose, which is what this is. And this is way too small. I mean, could you have put it in there and clamped it down? I mean, probably. There's a lot of slop, and I wanted a nice tight fitting. So that's where these come in. So let's go over this real quick. So the fitting size on the can, okay, that is metric. It's an M16 by 1.5. That's this fitting on the catch can. Okay. So this is what took me a while to find. So since our hose is 3/4 inch, I wanted to go 3/4 inch, and that way we got a good nice seal on this. So like I said, this is an M16 by 1.5 metric, and this was kind of hard to find the right piece I needed. So that's what this is. I got this on Amazon. This is an M16 by 1.5 that goes up to a 3/4 inch NPT style thread, so I can use an NPT 3/4 inch barb nipple, which is what this is. That's what this is. I'll put a link to this in the description below. So got the right thread style. This O-ring came on here, so I just pulled the O-ring off, put it on here, and that's our seal. So you just put it, put this on, get nice and tight. There we go. Okay, these are nice and tight now. We're going to get some thread tape, so let me go grab that real fast. Got our thread tape. Get that on our threads here. So this fitting here, this 3/4 inch barb fitting, so 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch NPT, 3/4 inch barb. This is a barb for a PEX fitting. This is what they had at Home Depot and Lowe's. I could not find a traditional style barb in store, but I did find it on Amazon. So I'll put a link to the normal barb fitting on Amazon, but this will work. And we'll just squeeze it in there, and yeah, we'll be in good shape. So it'll be just fine. But anyway, so here's this one. Got our thread tape on there. Let's get it in here. I'm not going to go like crazy tight on it. We're just going to go nice and snug. Right there. There's no pressure on this, right? It's just going to be PCV ventilation. and we'll go over some key takeaways too on some thoughts that I had in looking at the PCV vent on the truck. I also reached out to one of my buddies, lifelong friend of mine. He's big into, he's a mechanic and everything, and kind of troubleshot this stuff with him. And I mean, I'm sure I'm overthinking it, but the methodology makes sense. And we'll go over that in just a moment on the crankcase ventilation. All right, there's that. Okay. Finding the place to mount this is going to be the fun part. And I think I have an idea of where I want it to go. But first and foremost, let's get this put onto our bracket. Here are our nuts and bolts provided by Evil Energy. So okay. We are going to go with the lower portion. Okay, let's go over a couple things here. So if you see here, here's our crankcase ventilation line, as I mentioned in the last video, from our boost tube. This is where it goes down to, into the turbo, right down here. If you can see that or not, let me get y'all up in here. So it goes right down here, this position. So you see how it naturally flows like a downhill, goes downhill, right? I mean, talking to my mechanic buddy about this, crankcase vapors, they're vapors, right? So in theory, vapors, what happens with vapors, like I imagine your steam in your shower, right? It's on your, you take a shower, the vapor steam sticks to the walls, it puddles up and starts dripping down. So if over time enough steam vapors get in here, sticks to the walls, and it naturally drips down into the turbo, right? So what we're gonna do, I want to make sure my catch can is below the port on the CCV filter, because we know oil residue is getting into our intake, right, based on our boost tube situation. So I want it to be lower than this, so that way gravity naturally does its thing, and any residue or any vapors, any fluid naturally builds up and flows into the catch can. So I flipped this upside down, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to work, this is going to work or not. We're trying to make sure we get this lower than low enough, right? And that's probably too low. So we're going to flip it back over, right? It's all trial and error, you know? Now, I'm probably overthinking this, which, I mean, that's fine. But naturally, I want any buildup to go into the catch can. And if you have the catch can higher than this, fluid's going to naturally go downhill, right? So it's just going to flow back into your crankcase. So what's the point? What are you catching at that point, right? Because apparently there's no vacuum draw. That's the other thing too. I wonder if the turbo, with it being right here in front of this, is creating a vacuum where it slightly helps draw the vapors out. I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. I have no idea. Makes sense. Sounds good. Hopefully you guys can see pretty well. Here's our port. I just took the clamp off. Had to pause for a second because I dropped one of the nuts behind my battery. That sucked, but we got it off. So anywho, now we're just pulling the old crankcase tube off. I absolutely hate these hose clamps. Okay, just pop right off here. Oh, there it goes. All right, there's our old hose, and Not much residue in here. A little bit of residue, but not much. Which is good. Well, that's what I was hoping for. Now to figure out where we're gonna mount this bad boy. I think it makes it tough, that's for sure. Trying to find the right spot is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. That's for sure. I would like for it to go like right over here. That would be outstanding. But unless, oh, that might work. If I use, hey, hand me that piece of metal right there on top of the toolbox. Yep, let me see it. Thank you. If we use the bolt holding down the battery, oh, we can mount it right here. And whenever we get it in here, ouch. Ouch. We can, let's see. Yeah, that would be nice. So if we do that and put it right here, we'll go on the highest setting. So it would be, boom, right there. Be like perfect. Out of the way. Of course, it would make things a pain to take the tube off. Here's my current dilemma, everyone. A lot of people mount them like right here, which, I mean, I could do that, but it kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do, right? And it's going uphill, which ideally it'd be down there if I was to do it. I'm really wanting to test out this theory. So I mean, worst case is one more thing to take off, right? And this is the less invasive. I don't want to drill a hole through here. I'll drill a hole through this, and we'll get it mounted over here using the bolt clamping down the battery. It's simple enough. And I think what we can do is we can probably, let's see if we can bend this terminal a little bit. We can do that. Yeah, let's do that. And we can get that. Actually, we'll do this. Let me do this. So we're going to rotate it out of the way a little bit. Because right now, it is in the way. These terminals have like an anti-rotation thing on them too, but I mean, we're going to alleviate that a little bit. I'm just going to bend it. There we go. That'll work. And we can mount it to the side like so. And that gives us plenty of clearance to use that. We should be able to just, yep. So what we'll do here, we'll just notch our plastic out. We're going to cut a groove And our battery cable protector here. And then there we go. Not the best thing in the world, but it gets the job done. And we retain our protectors. Now we have good clearance to mount our can. That'll work. Let's do this thing. Drill a hole in our bracket right here. There we go. Let's get this, let's get this mount on the truck. Like I said, this is the least invasive, and it kind of follows the natural path of the can, or the tubing. So here's our catch can. There's our bolt. Let's get our bolt back in position. All right, I think we're gonna try to use our original hose to go from here to the turbo if we can. I don't know. That's gonna be a bummer. So, all right, which one? That's our out. Here's our in. So naturally, oh, that's gonna work nicely, I think. So I go here, and then we'll turn a little bit. Let's see. Let's try this side. Maybe. Nope. Yeah, we're gonna go with this side. We're gonna cut it right here. And of course, we're gonna go with hose clamps. Can't stand these things. Okay. Yep. We're gonna cut our old hose like right here in the middle of this. So let's get that real quick. Okay. All right. We got hose clamps. That is a janky looking cut right there. Anyway. So let's get this on here. That went on nice and easy. Let's drop our clamp on here. And worm it down here. There we go. All right, there's that clamp. This is the out port. And we're just gonna stick it on there too. Put our clamp. Yeah, we'll go on the outside. On there like so. I'm just gonna get it up and over the fitting. There we go. That maintains kind of our factory setup in a sense. Right? Our catch can be removed if needed. Not gonna be easy, we're gonna have to unbolt it, but that is what it is. It'll be part of the routine maintenance. So let's get this tightened up down here. This probably wouldn't be so hard if I wasn't trying to maintain the factory setup a little bit and just kind of put this in line. Because you just put this in and then that's it. This goes in and that's out. You're done. And then vent to atmosphere. I'm just curious to see. how well this works. All right, here's our big hose, and we're gonna route it through here, like so. And we're gonna use this heat shielding. See if this is gonna work. Yeah, that's gonna work okay. All right, there's that. Here's our protective coating here, and we'll put a zip tie on that, and then we're gonna cut this guy right here. All right, there's that. Here's our clamp. All right, let's get this sucker on here. Ah, darn it. No, bud. All right, gas can is installed. Nope, I can't see you, bud. No. Nope. No, sir. Do you? Oh, okay. Curses. Yep. All right, here we go. We are completely installed. Let me show you guys this. Okay, we forgot to put our filter media in here, which is more or less, probably don't need it, but we're gonna take this time to see if we can unscrew the can, which something's telling me I'm not gonna be able to do because it's just too hard to get my hand on. But I have a theory. Let's test it out. Okay, so if we take off our boost tube, or our cold air intake tube, we should be able to get it out fairly simply, or fairly easy. So we didn't lose functionality on that, so that's nice. Okay, let's see how this works. Oh yeah, look at that. And I'll be able to nice. There we go. There's our filter media going in. Probably, like I said, don't need it, but we don't wash our dishes with Brillo pads, so that's exactly what that reminds me of. All right, that's cool. So that works really well. Got that on there nice and tight. Now we just put our CAI tube back in position. Simple enough. That's it, folks. Look at that. And we're going to reposition this a little bit. There we go. Tighten our band clamp up. All right. Beautiful. go. You know, you get a zip tie real fast, and that gets hot, so we don't want that. So we're gonna zip tie this back here, actually, toward the firewall. All right, let me. Oh, that's the EGR plug anyway. All right, we got some glue. So let's get this thing all tied up here. Actually, I think we will go right here. And that keeps it up and out of the way. There we go. All right. That's not going to slide anywhere. We got our protection coating. All right, let's clip off that extra zip tie and let's do a walkthrough of this. All right, everyone. Let's get y'all in here and show you what's going on. So here's, like I said, here's the catch can. We mounted it. We used the bolt holding down our battery. It's good and tight. As I said, I wanted to maintain factory PCV ventilation just to see. There's a reason, right? Could I vent to atmosphere? Absolutely. If you want to do that, by all means, go for it. But I'm curious to see if this makes a difference. So we have our crankcase ventilation coming down to the in port on the catch can. We have our baffle, our filter media, and then there's our out port. And that goes out and down to the turbo like it was before, but we added this in the middle to catch any residual. And it's going at a natural slope down, so it won't pull up here. If it does pull up, it'll pull up in the hose and then eventually just make its way into the can. Yeah, that's it. Here's our dipstick, easy to get to. We didn't drill any holes into anything. We used existing bolts to mount it up, and it doesn't look stupid. It's nice and clean and simple. And there we have it. So that's how you install a catch can on your Ram 2500 Cummins year 21 model, or any other model for that matter, with the PCV still being used, right? So we're still using we didn't delete the filter. This is just another area to catch more stuff, whatever. Maybe eventually we'll get rid of it, but I'm not going to spend like $300 on a fancy metal plate. I'm not going to do it. So we're still going to have this, but now if this gets full or anything, or we'll end up replacing it eventually. It's really easy to do, but we have a fail safe now. So we have our PCV coming in, going to the can, and going back to the filter. Anybody that's commenting on this, asking why I didn't just vent it out to atmosphere, didn't feel like it. I was curious to see. I'm curious to see how this works. You know, like I said in the beginning, does the turbo help draw out the crankcase ventilation? Right? I don't know. I don't think it does, but it's hooked up there for a reason. There's got to be some sort of negative pressure on it, but I mean, I'm not gonna think about it too much. Cummins knows kind of what they're doing, right? They've been doing this for many, many years, but we'll see how it goes. Hell, who knows? We might get rid of that side together and just vent it out to atmosphere over there. Who knows? If it doesn't work out too well, I don't see a change. We might try both. I don't know. But hey, hope this helps you guys. Here's the Monster Ram, still going strong. If you saw my last video, that is the whole reason we are installing this bad boy right here, because of all that oil that was in our boost tube boot that made the boost tube boot come off. and have a massive boost leak. There it is. That should be the fix for that. We'll test it out. I don't even have 50,000 miles on my truck yet, right? So let's see how this goes. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like. If you're coming back to the channel, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming back and watching our videos. You guys are awesome. It's because of you guys that I keep doing this. My family, of course, that's the main reason why I'm doing it. But the subscribers and making a little bit of money is that's outstanding. I had no idea that would ever happen. So thank y'all very much for taking the time to watch the videos. I really appreciate it. And I'll do as much as I can to show you how much as I can. I'm learning in the process too, right? That's why I said, if you have any comments on this, let me know. But hopefully this helps you guys. I'll drop a link in the description for the catch cam we got from Evil Energy off of Amazon. A link in the description also for the M16 fittings that we got to run the 3/16 or the 3/4 inch NPT nipple barbs that just hook right up. You probably could run those other ones if they're really small. I didn't want to crush the pipe and then maybe have an oil leak. I'm trying to keep oil out of the engine bay as much as I can, right? So I'll put all that down below so you guys can go shopping and grab what you want. I don't get paid for that, so it's just for your benefit to help y'all find what y'all need and maybe save y'all some time. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Who knows what we're going to get into next, right? Peace.